Welcome back to another episode, guys, here in Bullet's Garage. On today's video, we're going to talk about the GSF because, yes, she is back. But I got Frenchie wandering the alley, so I gotta grab him, and then we're going to talk about the car. Alright, buddy, you stay here on the grass. Don't be wandering the alley, okay? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so as you could see, the car is back. The door is finished. I have my side skirts put on. I have the fender wrapped. Everything looks good. Well, not exactly. Really, bro? Really? Where are you going, bro? Come on. Alright, so let me start from the beginning as to what happened with the car. So I dropped it off at the body shop on a Wednesday. It was a long weekend, so they didn't work on it Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The next week they worked on it. I got it back on Friday. I picked it up. I observed it in the shop. Everything looked good with the lighting that was there. Got it back to the house, gave it a proper wash, yada yada. Sunday, my brother came over and we inspected it in my garage with proper lighting. We got a floodlight out, flashlights, looking at the paint, see if there's any imperfections, whatnot. And unfortunately, we did find a few spots here and there that were not up to par for the paint job that the car requires, since it is an expensive car, 3-stage paint. Here are some of the pictures of the flaws that we found, one of which was the drip in underneath the door handle, and then the next one was the chip right in the corner of the fender. And then the bottom of the door, the rear passenger door that was blended, had the clear coat seemed to be laid very heavily, and there was basically like almost like a chip somehow in the paint. So I contacted, the manager at the body shop. I told him, look, this and this is what I found. He said, no problem, bring the car back. We will correct all these issues, get it perfect for you. So I'm like, of course, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I have no choice but to do that because I want this car perfect 100%. So Monday morning rolls around. I drop the car off to the body shop. I point out all these areas. They walk around with tape. Bam, 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 bam. These are all the areas. A couple hours later, they let me know what they're gonna do. So they said the rear door, they're gonna repaint yet again to get rid of there was a little dent in or not a dent, but almost like a nick in the paint, which was extremely visible. So they said, we're gonna repaint this door. We're gonna do some wet sanding and polishing on this and the fender, and then we're gonna fix the chip in the fender. I'm like, do whatever you gotta do. You guys are the professionals. I just want this to look perfect, okay? So a couple days later, on a Thursday morning, I pick up the car, and I, again, looked at it in the shop, which it's hard to see anything in the shop because the car is not fully perfectly cleaned and the lighting is not optimal to see anything. But, from what I saw, I'm like, okay, it looks good. But I told the guy, I'm gonna take the car home, look it over perfectly at home, and let you know if I find anything. And so I looked the car over after the second time they fixed all the issues, and unfortunately I find issues, more issues. So this is the state that we are at currently, and I'm going to show you all these imperfections that I found. All right, so let me bring you in and show you some of the flaws that are visible, on the phone. Not all of them will be visible, but this is the rear door that was painted. You see that little nick right there? There's another one right there. And another one right there. Kind of see that? So basically there's what I would call dirt in the clear coat that was not tack cloth before it was sprayed. But hopefully this should be able to be wet sanded out so they don't have to respray again. So that was one thing that I found. The drip in the door is now taken care of. It is no longer there. But this lower part of the door, when they were wet sanding, there were extremely heavy wet sanding marks right here, which, let me see if I could attempt to get it on camera, but no, not really. Anyway, so what I did was, you know, besides these wet sanding marks that are on here, the rest of the panel, the door panel here that was replaced, looks very good. And so basically the wet sanding marks on this side and this little area right here were the areas that needed to work on, that need work on now. So then the main thing that was really just that needed the most attention and the biggest fix was that chip. So if you look in here, this is how the chip was fixed. So I don't know what kind of fix you call this, but it looks like it was almost sanded or tried to be sanded down, but it was not repainted. This does not look good at all. So this is where we are currently, okay guys? So I told the shop, I'm like, listen guys, I do not want to bring my entire vehicle into the shop because it's just going to collect dust. Then you guys need to wash it. You're probably using improper washing methods. You're adding swirls to the rest of the car where there's no swirls before. So I told the body shop manager, I'm like, listen, that fender is not going to fly. It needs to be fixed yet again, repainted. Whatever needs to be done needs to happen. So I told him I will take the fender off myself, bring it to you so you could respray it, do whatever you have to do, make it perfect, because that piece in the fender is, you know, that's unacceptable. And then I'll pick up the fender and we'll go from there. So that is the next step. So in today's video, I'm going to take that fender off and I'm going to show you kind of how to take off a fender, because I have never done it on this car. Shouldn't be too complicated, but we will go from there. I did speak to Sam, who is the, you know, the body shop manager. Good boy Frenchie, stay there, don't go in the alley. And I told him, I'm like, listen, this is slightly frustrating that the car was back twice. You know, there's debris in the paint still. You know, I get it that debris might enter the paint and the environment, but if, you know, whoever, your painter must not be paying enough attention to detail, or else this wouldn't happen. So it's very inconvenient for me to have, you know, the car been there twice already, yada yada. And he said he's going to make the situation right, and that's going to be the case, which I will update you guys on the next video. But for now, let's go ahead and take that fender off. So let's pop the beautiful hood of this V8. Oh yes, and let's slowly start disassembling here. All right, at this point, this backside is fully loose. There's something holding it up here, so I'm gonna investigate. And we'll be All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is what a GSF looks like without a fender. So I did have to loosen up a few of the bolts of the lip and the bumper underneath, along with some of the bolts that hold the bumper on top here, to get the fender loose. So let's carry on. Hey guys, this is Lily. She's my main hoe. I love you, baby. All right. This is how the car is gonna stay for now. I have this taped so the panel is not leaning over too far. Basically, the front bumper is more or less in place. And let's move on to the fender itself. So we got the fender off. These 3 bolts were kind of tricky. This is why we had to loosen up the bumper to get to these. But now, as you could tell, this piece I rewrapped. I had you know, the body shop wrap it for me, but the way they wrapped it, it wasn't perfectly with this body line like my OCD likes it to be, so I rewrapped it. But looks like I'm gonna have to rewrap it again because they're gonna paint this panel. So let's get this wrap off. And will you look at this? So, all right guys, the body shop, when they wrapped this originally and trimmed it with a knife, look at this, they cut too deep and the paint is pulling up where they cut it, because you can see where mine is. My cut is way above that line. This is way below that. Wow, I mean, sometimes I swear this is just ridiculous. Next, when this panel is going to be painted next, I'm not going to wrap this right away. I'm going to let this cure, the paint cure, before it gets wrapped. So unbelievable. Let's take this off. You know how they did the wrap? So they cut it with a knife. Cut too deep. Look,
oh, he cut into this?
The paint is coming off.
Oh, when he cut this?
Yeah, because look, my wrap is way above that where I cut mine, and mine's not coming off because I cut it perfectly.
Wow. Come on, guys, you want to come inside, Poppy? Let's go, Poppy. Run, Poppy.
Alright guys, all the plastic pieces and clips are taken off this panel. Actually, I forgot one right up here, which I'm going to take off. But for the most part, everything is good. This is just absolutely ridiculous how the vinyl wrap pulled off the paint and this cut right here. So this whole panel is going to need to be repainted. And that's it for this, guys. I'll keep you posted when this panel's repainted and I get it back and do the reinstall, okay? Make sure you subscribe to see more of Lily and the GSF. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.